from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Well, welcome back. It's just about 6:30. Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely.
And I'm Julie Watts. People around the world are remembering former President George H.W. Bush. He passed away last night at the age of 94 after suffering multiple health problems. He's being remembered for his dedication to his family and decades of devoted service to his country. Reporter Hillary Lane has the latest.
Texas A&M students gathered overnight at President George H.W. Bush's library and museum to pay tribute to the 41st president.
He was such a wonderful man, and this school is founded on his style of public service and selfless service.
In a statement, his oldest son, President George W. Bush, called his father a man of the highest character and the best dad a son or daughter could ask for. The elder Bush's death comes about 8 months after the passing of his wife, Barbara Bush.
I think he's the wisest, smartest, most decent, caring person I know.
A World War II hero, Texas congressman, and CIA director, Bush served as Ronald Reagan's vice president for 8 years before becoming the 41st president of the United States in 1989.
I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
During his one term in the White House, Bush played a key role in the reunification of Germany and took on Saddam Hussein for invading Kuwait, which led to the first Gulf War. He lost his re-election bid to Bill Clinton in 1992, who released a statement remembering the elder Bush's long life of service, love, and friendship. President Trump and First Lady Melania praised his, quote, sound judgment, common sense, and unflappable leadership. After leaving the White House, Bush 41 remained active and even went skydiving to celebrate his 80th, 85th, and 90th birthdays. Hillary Lane, CBS News.
Next week, the former president will lie in state at the U.S. Capitol. Details and timing of the funeral service are still being determined.
And this morning, flags at the White House were lowered to half-staff in Bush's honor. President Trump has declared next Wednesday a national day of mourning. An Oakland nurse deported last year during the Trump administration's immigration crackdown will be allowed to return to the Bay Area. The case of Maria Mendoza Sanchez made national headlines when she and her husband were forced to return to Mexico, leaving 2 of their older children behind. Mendoza Sanchez worked as a registered nurse at Highland Hospital, caring for cancer patients. She said when she left, she wanted to do the right thing after years of fighting to live in the U.S. legally.
When I came to this country, I was very young. Back then, I didn't really understand what it meant, what had happened. I didn't came because I was trying to violate anybody's rules. I came pretty much because I was young and in love.
Her chance to return to the U.S. comes thanks to the H-1B lottery program. It provides opportunities for workers with special skills to come to this country. She will be reunited with her children here, but she will have to leave her husband in Mexico. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf tweeted, "Welcome back to Oakland, Maria. Your community awaits you with open arms." Oakland Congresswoman Barbara Lee said in a statement, Maria's case is a stark example of the damage that the Trump administration's inhumane, zero-tolerance policy has wreaked on families across the country. A federal judge in San Francisco is keeping President Trump's asylum ban on hold. Now, 3 weeks ago, Mr. Trump issued an order barring anyone who crosses between ports of entry from seeking asylum. 10 days later, a U.S. judge said the law is clear that immigrants can, in fact, seek asylum regardless of where or how they cross. Now, that same judge in San Francisco is denying a Justice Department request to have the injunction lifted. Today, President Trump is meeting with China's president at the G20 summit in a bid to ease trade tensions between the two nations. Yesterday, he signed a new trade accord with Canada and Mexico. It's a deal that President Trump and his team had pushed for. He says it will boost the economies of all 3 North American countries. The new accord is supposed to replace NAFTA, but it will not go into effect unless Congress gives it its approval, which is far from assured. And on the special counsel Russia's investigation, CBS News reports that President Trump got advance word from the Justice Department that his former attorney, Michael Cohen, would plead guilty to lying to Congress. Cohen now admits that talks with Russians about a Trump Tower in Moscow lasted through June of 2016, not January, as he said initially. New details on another NFL player cut from his team for abusing a woman. The player is Kansas City Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt. In a video obtained by TMZ, he can be seen shoving and even kicking a woman. This happened in a Cleveland hotel last February. Hunt is seen pushing the woman, and she shoves her hand in his face. The melee gets even worse. The woman is knocked down, and Hunt gives her a final kick. Police were called to the scene, but after interviewing all of the parties involved, decided not to press charges against anyone. Asked about off-season issues months later, the team's CEO dismissed concerns.
Kareem is a young man, second year in the league, obviously had a very big year on the field last year. I'm sure he learned some lessons this offseason and hopefully won't be in those kind of situations in the future.
Now, of course, all of this comes on the heels of 49ers linebacker Reuben Foster cut from the team last Monday over domestic violence allegations, only to be picked up by the Redskins the next day. Now, the Chiefs will be in the Bay Area to play the Raiders at the Coliseum tomorrow.
A major hotel chain is dealing with a huge data breach affecting up to 500 million guest accounts. Now, Marriott International says it recently discovered cyber break-ins involving its Starwood Hotel Group. The breaches date back to 2014. Marriott purchased the Starwood Group in 2016. The exposed information includes customers' addresses, dates of birth, passport information, and credit card numbers.
All the info that a crook could use to spin up a fake account in your name.
Now, the breach affects the following brands: Sheraton, Westin, Element, Aloft, W, St. Regis, Four Points, Le Méridien, and the Luxury Collection, as well as the Starwood branded timeshare properties. Marriott is alerting customers through email. Well, an unusual DUI arrest on the peninsula involving a Tesla driver asleep at the wheel. And the car's autopilot may have saved that man's life. The driver, Alexander Samek, chairs the planning commission for the city of Los Altos. He's also facing a DUI charge. The CHP says his Model S appeared to be driving all by itself around 3:30 yesterday morning. It was heading south on 101 through Redwood City at 70 miles an hour. The officer pulled alongside and noticed Samek asleep. The officer moved behind the Tesla, turned on his lights and siren, but there was still no response.
The unit came up in front of the vehicle and basically started slowing down, assuming that the driver assist feature might have been used at the moment. That actually worked. The patrol vehicle started slowing down. The vehicle slowed down behind it.
After the Tesla finally stopped, Samek failed a sobriety test and he was arrested.
A major convenience or an ominous sign. Either way, Clipper card terminals are returning to the old Transbay terminal. They were removed from the old site when the new Salesforce terminal opened in August, but when cracked beams closed the new terminal the following month, the old temporary terminal was pressed back into service. Now the return of Clipper card vending machines may be a sign that the temporary terminal will be more than temporary. As for the reopening of the $2.2 billion Salesforce terminal, no specific date has been given. Hydraulic jacks are now bracing the structure while the cause of those cracks is investigated.
Well, some parts of the country are dealing with the aftermath of tornadoes this morning. In Oklahoma, a tornado touched down, damaging homes and other buildings. The twister knocked out power and forced a closure of some roads. There are also tornado reports in Arkansas.
Just days after flash flooding forced new evacuations in the Camp Fire burn zone, Butte County is bracing for more rain. This week's downpours created an obstacle course of rocks and mud and forced residents out for the second time this month.
You're driving home from work and you're thinking to yourself, like, that's twice we've been mandatory evacuated in the last month.
3 weeks.
Yeah. So.
21 days apart, Thursdays. November's almost over.
Now, this time-lapse video out of Southern California shows just how fast a small flow can become a flood. It was taken Thursday in Riverside County, where a low spot quickly became a lake of mud. In the meantime, snow is falling in Yosemite. Take a look. Park rangers posted these pictures showing a layer of snow blanketing Yosemite Valley and covering the trails. A winter weather advisory remains in effect there through today. An investigation is underway in Milpitas after a home suddenly went up in flames. Now check out these pictures from Chopper 5 last night showing flames shooting through the roof. It happened around 6 p.m. on Nieves Street. It's still not clear how that fire started. There's no word of any injuries.
Well, a suspect is in custody after a dramatic arrest at a school playground in Vallejo. The incident began yesterday morning when a woman was robbed at knife point in front of a nearby restaurant. Police later had the suspect surrounded at Vallejo Charter School. Then he ran again, trailed by a police dog and other officers. They eventually took him down, but the man continued to fight. All this happened just as classes were about to start, so many kids witnessed this arrest.
A report from the California Highway Patrol reveals more details about a deadly hostage standoff at a veterans facility in Napa County. Now, back in March, 3 female employees were fatally shot at the Pathway home in Yountville. The suspect, described as an expelled client, later committed suicide. The CHP report suggests that the gunman, Albert Wong, had propped open a basement door the previous night. A sheriff's deputy managed to escape serious injury or death at that scene.
I'd like to take a quick moment to give credit to the initial responding Napa County Sheriff's deputy who put himself in harm's way knowing that he had an active, ongoing situation that involved shots fired and exchanged initial gunfire with the suspect.
That deputy was 27-year Napa County veteran Steve Lombardi. The report also says that the gunman legally purchased his weapons in Napa and San Mateo counties in the previous month, and that he had searched for suicide footage online.
Crews in San Jose are trying to figure out what caused a VTA train to derail. Chopper 5 flew over the area just after 5 o'clock yesterday at San Carlos Street and Waz Way near the Children's Discovery Museum. The VTA tells us the train had been added for the Pac-12 championship football game played at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara last night. It was headed to the stadium when it derailed. No passengers were on board.
Today is World AIDS Day, dedicated to raising awareness of the AIDS pandemic. An observance will be held starting at noon today in San Francisco. It'll be at the National AIDS Memorial on the eastern end of Golden Gate Park.
And today in San Jose, a major effort to get guns and weapons off the streets. The San Jose Police Department's holding a gun buyback and offering incentives for people to participate. The gun buyback is being held at the San Jose Police Department substation. That's at 6087 Great Oaks Parkway. It runs from 9 until 1 p.m. They'll buy back handguns, rifles, and shotguns for $100. And those who turn in an assault weapon will receive $200. The guns collected today, though, will be checked for lost or stolen status.
The man behind the musical Hamilton, which we both thought was amazing, now has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, LinManuel Miranda said he felt like he was in a dream during yesterday's ceremony. He's best known for creating Hamilton and starring in it. So far in his career, he's won 3 Tony Awards, 3 Grammys, an Emmy, and a Pulitzer Prize.
And recapping our top story, former President George H.W. Bush has died.
The nation's 41st president passed away in Houston late yesterday evening. Mr. Bush had a lasting impact on America and across the world, holding a variety of public offices for decades. And as president, helping to oversee the end of the Cold War. George H.W. Bush was 94 years old.
It is time for us to call it a morning. Thank you for watching KPIX 5 News this morning.